welcome back to the Joy Talk. I am so happy to be here with you today because we are officially episode 10. And now I don't know about you, but episode 10 just sounds like a really good round number. And I'm just so blessed and so happy to be here with you today for episode 10. And I wanted to bring in the big guns when it comes to episode 10. I wanted to talk to you about why it's so important to build your personal brand. Why it's so important for you, my ladies, to have a personal brand. Now, as you know, I don't know, maybe you know or you don't know, but I love branding. I'm a brand and marketing consultant. I'm a self-development strategist, and branding is the thing that I love the most when it comes to marketing, and also the thing I love the most when we're self-developing ourselves, because branding is just being able to show who you are without words, being able to make sure that the essence of who you are resonates with others, and being able to become an experience for others. It doesn't matter if you're a brand, it doesn't matter if you're a business owner, it doesn't matter if you're a professional. Every single individual out there, every single one of you ladies out there is an individual, is a professional, and is someone who has a personal brand. You are someone with a personal brand. And you know what? I said professional, but you can very much well be a stay-at-home mom. You can be someone who stays at home, who doesn't work, and still have your very own personal brand. Each and every one of us has a personal brand, and it's extremely important to be sensitive about it. It's extremely important for us to have some sort of effort and some sort of attention that we put towards our personal brand, because it follows us every single where we go. Your personal brand is a representation of who you are without you having to say a word. It's the feeling you give, it's the experience you provide, it's how you portray yourself in the world. And it's extremely important for you to really be attentive to that personal brand, because you really don't want to be portraying something you are not, and you really want to make sure that you are actually being extremely authentic towards yourself when it comes to your personal brand. Ooh, I love this subject. Okay. A lot of us will think about our personal brand is only the clothes we wear, is only the style we wear. And some people will tell me, Vanessa, I do not have the money to wear designer stuff. I don't have the money to have a full-on makeover. No, your personal brand is not just an image. Think about the brands you love, okay? Think about all the brands we know, we love, we consume. They're much more than just the logo. They are much more than just the storefront. It's the depth of who they are. What's their mission statement? What's their values? What's their essence? What's their colors? What's the personality that the brand has that allows you to say, this is a brand I love, this is a brand I connect with, and this is a brand I will consume, okay? So that's really products and brands that come from product divisions, consumer product goods, You're always going to choose a brand and a product that you love and you can trust, right? If you're going to use, whatever Downy to clean your clothes, to wash your clothes, it's not necessarily because they have such a beautiful branding or whatever, because that that product you love, how it smells, and it delivers on its promise, okay? So you go much further than just the look and feel. But before trying that Downy product, before making sure that you try it for the first time and you buy it in your basket, there are so many things that come into mind and come into play before you purchase. Maybe it'll be the price, maybe it'll be an ad you saw, maybe it's just how it's displayed, but there's something about the brand that calls you for you to purchase it and try it. And I'm not trying to say that we're products, and I'm not trying to say that we're just brands and consumer products, but we're definitely brands. We are walking, talking, living brands. And whether we like it or not, we represent ourselves in every single way and form we show up in any way format. I don't know if that makes sense. In whatever format you show up in your life, whether it's your professional environment, whether it's your personal environment, whether it's just going to the gym, whether it's wherever, you are always representing yourself. You are always presenting yourself as who you are, what you do, what you love, and what you're about. even if you don't try, it's probably the moments where you do not try that you definitely most likely represent your brand, okay? So it's super important to work on our personal brand, because our personal brand allows us to show up, allows us to represent ourselves without having to explain who we are. It's really, really important that we make sure that how we choose to be represented through our personal brand is authentic to who we are. It's really aligned with who we are, okay? So for example, I'm going to give you an example. If you are someone who loves to, you're someone who loves fitness, you're someone who loves the health environment, you love that atmosphere, you love that ecosphere, you love wearing fitness clothes, you just love that vibe, you are naturally going to dress up in that way. You are naturally going to talk about those things. You are naturally going to be driven by those things, and people around you are going to feel that. And that means that when I have a question about fitness, when I have a question about health, when I have something that comes to mind, I go to you, because I know that's your brand. I know that's what you are. I know like that's how you operate, you know what I mean? So I'm gonna go to you even if you don't have anything to offer. I'll just go to you like, you know what, I saw this thing on this article, I want to know what do you think about this, and you probably will have the answer. You probably will know what to tell me as an answer. Same thing for someone who's a makeup junkie, someone who loves makeup, someone who, works in the makeup industry or not, but someone who loves makeup. You most likely will have a very, very beautiful makeup on when you go to places. And it doesn't have to be a full face makeup, but you'll just represent yourself in that way. And then when I talk to you, I'll be like, oh, how do you do this eye look? How do you do this? You'll be like, I use this product, I use this is what you need to do. You'll know what to talk about, and I'll know to go to you. So this is like things that are much more obvious, right? Fitness, makeup, all that stuff. But it's like we need to have a certain attention towards our personal brand. We need to pay attention to how we're presenting ourselves, and to make sure that how we represent ourselves is really how we want to represent ourselves. Your personal brand is always following you. Yes, there's going to be days where you go to Costco and you dress up like whatever, and you're just like, I don't know if this represents me. That's okay. But the majority of the time, how you dress, how you look, how you speak, how you feel, how you make other people experience your presence, that is your personal brand. Your values, your core values, your mission, what you're driven by, what you do in your everyday life, what your profession is, that also is part of your personal brand. And that's really important. And I think that sometimes we keep the term personal brand for people who are entrepreneurs or business owner. Like, yeah, I work in my corporate job. I don't need a personal brand. That's for entrepreneurs. That's for business owners. You guys have to show up and you guys have to show your personal brand. Yeah, absolutely. I definitely have to show my personal brand as an entrepreneur and as a business owner. But trust me, when you're in the corporate ladder, when you're in the corporate world, you most definitely need a personal brand. And you probably need a personal brand more than someone who's a business owner or more than someone who's an entrepreneur. Because when you're in the corporate world, you are in the jungle. You are in the jungle with a ton of other people who are doing the work as well, and you are trying to represent who you are. You don't want to be just meshing and blending in and just pretending that you are like everybody else. You want to be yourself. You want to stand as your own. And how do you do that? You do that through your personal brand. How do people recognize you in the hallway? How do people think about you for projects? How do people think about you for raises and promotions? Best believe if they remember how you look, they remember how you make them feel, they remember the experience you give in your professional environment, they will remember you when it's time to talk about you, okay? And that's really important. And I'm not trying to say like you have to be loud or you have to be like extravagant or you have to look good all the time. You have to look like yourself. You have to feel like yourself. You have to show up like yourself. And how do you do that? Is by making sure you know deep down what your personal brand is, making sure you know deep down that you are making conscious choices that go with your personal brand, like how you dress up in the morning, how you show up, how you speak, how you let other people experience you, how you portray your values through the things you do is very much part of your personal brand. So like, don't think that personal branding is only for people who are business owners or entrepreneur. People who are in the corporate world, my ladies, if you are in the corporate world, if you are working that 9 to 5, if you are working in an organization, you most definitely need to pay attention to your personal brand. You most definitely have to make sure that the personal brand you are portraying is exactly what you want to be portraying. That is exactly who you are at a core. Yes, my ladies. God, I had a lot of ramble. Like, can you tell how passionate I am about speaking about personal branding? My mind goes in so many places because, first of all, it's just like, it's much more important than what we think, and it's much more easy. It's much more easy. It's easier than what we think, okay? You do not need to have the latest products. You do not need to buy the nice designer clothes. You do not need to own designer bags. You don't need to buy. It's not like, personal branding is not about buying or consuming products or buying new things or making sure that you always have the trendiest things. Not at all. Not at all. Personal branding is about making sure that your core values and who you are is represented by the experience that we are experiencing from you externally. Okay? If I am someone who cares about my family, if I am someone who cares about my success, if I am someone who cares about my health, if I am someone who cares about modesty, if I am someone who cares about the world, these are things that have to be felt by the experience and the interactions that you have with me. Now, that doesn't mean that when you go in a conversation, you have to talk about your kids because you care about your kids. No, it doesn't have to be about that. But the vibe you give, if you're a mom and you love your kids, you probably most likely are very nurturing. And how you're going to approach yourself and how you're going to talk in a meeting, how you're going to be showing up is going to be in a way that's much more open than if you were just like career driven and you didn't necessarily want to you didn't necessarily have that as your core values. Okay. So it's like the way you're going to interact, the way you're going to listen. I know people who like have kids and the way that they listen tells me that they have kids. It's just the way that they listen. It's not about the Louboutins. It's not about the Louis Vuitton. It's about how they act in a meeting. It's like, oh, they are able to give everybody a chance. They're able to show up. They're able to listen to everybody, and they're able to make sure that everybody feels seen. And that is very much a way that a mother will act in different things, okay? So your personal brand is extremely important, and it shows up in your different areas. So now it gave you an example of how your core value shows up. But you know what? The beautiful thing about branding and your personal brand is that it will be natural. It becomes natural to you when you show up in meetings. If you are someone who is very health conscious, if you are someone who cares about like the environment, it will show up. And you don't have to say like, I'm going to talk about this, I have to show this because it's my personal brand. No, it shows up naturally because it's who you are authentically. It's who you are at your core. You're not playing a play. You're not putting an act on. You're not putting a mask. It's who you are at the core. If you are someone who loves to travel, it's who you are at the core. It will show up naturally in conversations. It will show up naturally in how you speak, and it will show up naturally in your way of being. So that's one really big important thing about personal branding. It shows up naturally. Now, you may ask me, like, Vanessa, what does that even mean? Where do I go with this information? Good question. So the first thing I want to tell you when you're building your personal brand is make sure you really know who you are. Make sure you really know who you are. Make sure you know what your strengths are. Make sure you know who you are at the core. Make sure you know what you don't like, what you do like. Make sure you know what you're good at. Make sure you know your values. Make sure you know your core values, because your core values are the anchor of who you are, and who you are is the anchor of your personal branding. So making sure you know who you are is going to allow you to be very natural in being who you are, and being who you are is going to be naturally your personal brand. Okay? So first step, I would say know exactly who you are. Second step, I want to say, like, be aware of how you show up. Like, be aware of the external factors, okay? Be aware of the environment, the places you are and you're going at, and make sure that you pay attention to how you want to be portrayed through your personal brand. So what that means is, like, if you know you're in a corporate job and you know that you love to, for example, wear jeans, and you're more like a sporty girl, you're more like someone who's like loves fitness, but you work in a corporate job and you can't necessarily just wear like Lululemon leggings at work and all that stuff, okay? You can still dress up in a way that we can feel your vibe, but you have to also make sure that it feels part of the bigger picture, which is your external environment, okay? So making sure you know who you are, but then making the conscious choice of representing yourself in a way that is meshed with the environment that you're in. So not mingling and not mixing and not like blending in, because that's not what we're trying to do. We're not trying to blend in ever, ladies. We're trying to stand in our own and stand out in our own way. But it's really about making sure that you are dressing up for yourself in the way that feels like yourself, and also in concordance, in congruency with where you are at, okay? This is really important, my ladies, because there are times and places where I'm gonna wear some oversized baggy jeans, big t-shirt, sneakers of the day, all that stuff. But there's other times where I'm going to dress up in my own style, but I know I'm going to a corporate meeting. I know I'm going to meet clients that are a little bit more conservative and traditional, but I still keep my own style. But I know how to dress in the different places I am at through my style. So that means like you show up as your personal brand in your style, in congruency to where you are going, in congruency to the environment that you are in. So this is like, I want to just reiterate this, because a lot of time it's like, we can think that your personal brand is like this one style that you keep, and this is always my style. Like, I love fitness, I'm always going to dress up like a fitness girl. Yeah, but no, because when you're going to go in certain meetings or in certain places, it may not be appropriate to dress exactly like that style that you're dressing at when you go to your, spinning classes or whatever. But you can bring in the elements of who you are, core values, and make sure that it shows up and like fits in a way in the bubble of the environment that you are going to be showing up in. Your personal brand moves with you in the environments that you are in, okay? Your personal brand moves with you in the environments that you are in externally. So that means that you are anchored into knowing who you are, knowing how you represent yourself, knowing what makes you feel good and the experience that you are giving, and you're able to bring that into different environments. You're able to bring that into different environments. You are not just like stuck in a way. Like, personal branding is not about being stuck in a way. This is my personal brand. It's never going to change or never going to move. No, it moves with you in the different places and different environments that you are in. So really making sure that you have key pieces, making sure that you have styles for different types of events that are always feeling like you, okay? Because, honestly, there's so many times where I have to dress up for something and I don't feel like myself. I'm like, I don't know what to wear. And the only reason why is because I have to come back to like, what's my personal style? What do I like to wear? And how can I adapt it to the environment? And versus like trying to find all the clothes and the pieces that are in my wardrobe that don't like fit my style at the moment and trying to make it happen for me. No, I know what my style is today. I know what I like to look like. I know what I represent. I know my core values. And it's just about making sure that the pieces and what I take into that fits with me at that moment and fits also with that environment that I am in, okay? So that is really, 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 really important. Number 3, when it comes to your personal brand, okay, the one thing that I think is also very much important is that you have to feel good. Okay, we talked about knowing who you are. We talked about being in congruency with who you are and also the external environments that you are in. But the third part is you need to feel good. Like, you need to feel good within your personal brand, because people are going to very much know when you do not feel good. People know, like, when you are dressing up in some way and you're showing up in a way and you're in an environment that you are not comfortable in, you're not comfortable. Best believe that the people around you also feel that you're not comfortable. And when they feel that they are not comfortable around you, they do not feel good. And the experience that you are providing is not good, meaning that your brand experience is not at the level that you want to bring it at to. So that's really important, my ladies. You need to feel good, okay? And feeling good, yes, obviously starts with our clothes. We all know that. But feeling good in the places you go to and feeling good on within the projects that you work on, feeling good in the ways that you do the things, okay? Because when you're a brand, and you are all a brand, we are all a personal brand, I've already mentioned this, you have to do things that are in alignment with you, okay? Just for example, Nike is a big brand. We all know Nike. There are things Nike will not do. Like maybe they will do it just for like an event or a campaign, but there are things that Nike will not play in. Like Nike will not start making some burgers like the Nike burger just because they feel like that feels right for them. They're not going to do that. And you know why? Because it's not aligned with who they are and their core mission, which is making sure that everybody moves, right? So that's the same thing when it comes to your personal brand too. It's like, if you do not feel good in certain environments, don't go in those environments. If certain environments do not align with your core values, do not go in those environments. If people and places don't make you feel good, you do not have to be there in that environment, especially if you're choosing. Because obviously, yes, let me know. I know what you're telling me, my ladies. I know what you're saying. There are times in the corporate world you have to go to that networking event. There are times in the corporate world, or even not even the corporate world, entrepreneur life and business owner life, that you have to be in situations that you do not want to be in. And that's like almost like you don't have a choice. But what I'm talking about is when you have a choice and you want to go to a place, make sure you really want to go. And if you don't want to go to a place, don't go. If it doesn't align with your values, if it doesn't align with who you are at your core, do not go to these places. That's about as real as it can get when it comes to your personal brand. Your personal brand is making sure that you are always aligned with your core values and that you are authentic. You're making sure you're authentic, right? You're authentic in saying, I want to be here. And you're authentic in saying, like, I've never been in this environment. I'm trying it out. Perfect. That's authentic. But then there's authentic of like being like, I don't want to be here, so I'm not going to go to that event. And that's really important too. Event, clients, contracts, whatever. If you feel like you're not authentic and it doesn't work with your personal brand to do these things professionally, you don't do them, okay? So that's really like the third point that I would say is like you need to feel good with like how you look. You need to feel good with the experience that you're living, and you need to feel good in every single component that you are doing, feeling good and feeling like your true self. Feeling like your true self is probably one of the number one rules about your personal brand. You always have to feel like your true self. There's no time for the mask. There's no time for fake it till you make it. I don't believe in that when it comes to your personal brand. Hell nah. You have to make sure that you are feeling true to who you are when you are building your personal brand. And when you're working with someone who's building your personal brand, for example, if we were to work together and you feel like I'm not understanding your personal brand, you have to say, no, this is not my personal brand. This is my personal brand, Vanessa. And I'll be like, okay, that makes sense. Because it's so important for us to be true to who we are, because that's all we own. Our personal brand is the thing we get to own, we get to choose, we get to make the conscious decision on how we want to look, feel, and make other people experience the experience of us. So your personal brand is that one thing you get to choose in your life. So make sure you choose wisely and make sure it's aligned with who you are, my ladies. Okay, so that was a big ramble and big talk. I keep saying ramble like I'm diminishing what I'm talking about. No, it's not a ramble, but it's just because I know that I'm rambling a lot and I speak a lot because I'm so passionate about this topic. But my ladies, I want you to think about how you can make sure that you are aligned with your personal brand. How can we make sure that your personal brand is on point? How can we make sure that every single time you are showing up in any type of environment that you're representing yourself as your true self and really making sure that you feel true to who you are through your personal brand? So that is episode 10, my ladies. For you, building your personal brand is so important. It doesn't matter who you are, my ladies. It doesn't matter what you do in your life. It doesn't matter what career you have. Your personal brand follows you when you go to the restaurant, when you go to a meeting, when you go to shopping, when you go to brunch, when you go to work. It follows you every single place. And it's super important for you to make sure that it feels aligned with you. Okay? Thank you so much for being here for episode 10. I'm so excited for you and for me, for every one of us out here. If you have any question when it comes to your personal brand, drop me a comment and you will have a little 15-minute, 30-minute consultation with me free of charge that I'm going to give you complimentary about personal branding. And let's just dive in to make sure that we are developing our personal brand in the right way. Okay, my ladies? So I will see you next week. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next week.